8th-ranked Alabama and number 1 Georgia meet for the SEC Championship at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Alabama has dominated in the SEC Championship game as of late. The Tide won 6 of the last 9 SEC titles, while Georgia has won 2 out of the other 3 during that span. The Bulldogs are the 2-time defending national champs and have the nation's longest win streak at 29 games. Their last loss was in the SEC Championship against the Crimson Tide. In that SEC title game in 2021, the Crimson Tide led the Bulldogs by as many as 21 as Alabama rolled to their 29th SEC championship with a 41-24 victory.
You know, I'm very, very proud of this team for the progress that they've made, the work that they've done to give themselves an opportunity to play in the SEC championship game. This is one of the most competitive, best venues, you know, in college football. And we're obviously playing, you know, one of the best teams in college football, if not the best team in college football.
Georgia enters the SEC Championship with a perfect 12-0 record. The Bulldogs have wins against 4 ranked opponents, but their closest matchup was against the Auburn Tigers. Georgia defeated Auburn by a single touchdown at Jordan-Hare Stadium. With the score tied at 20 with under 3 minutes to play, Carson Beck connected with Brock Bowers for the game-winning 40-yard touchdown as the Bulldogs escaped with a 27-20 win over the Tigers. Both head coaches are very familiar with one another. Kirby Smart spent 11 years as an assistant on Coach Saban's staff, 1 at both LSU and the Miami Dolphins, and 9 for the Crimson Tide. But it's Coach Saban that has had the advantage on the field with a 9-3 record all-time against Georgia, including a 7-2 mark as the head coach of the Crimson Tide. Kirby Smart hasn't had the same success against Alabama. Smart is 1-4 against the Crimson Tide as the Bulldogs head coach.
You know, Kirby's done a fantastic job there. I mean, I don't think people realize, you know, how hard it is to win 29 games in a row or even be 12-0 in a season.
As you would expect under Kirby Smart, the Bulldogs have one of the best defenses in America. Georgia leads the SEC in scoring defense and total defense. The Bulldogs are allowing just 15 points per game. Georgia also has the top pass defense in the SEC, allowing just 176 yards through the air, but is 4th in rushing defense, giving up 117 yards on the ground.
Defensively, they're the number 1 team in the SEC. Got good players, well coached, do a really, really good job. And this is a team that doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses. That's why they are who they are and what they are. And it's going to be really important for us to do, you know, a great job of executing and do what we do the best that we can do it.
Georgia is one of only 3 teams in the nation that rank in the top 10 in both scoring offense and scoring defense. The Bulldogs are 8th in the nation, scoring almost 40 points per game and winning by an average margin of 22. Quarterback Carson Beck ranked 2nd in the SEC in total offense behind Jaden Daniels with 302 yards per game. Beck has thrown for 22 touchdowns with 6 interceptions on the year. Beck has some offensive weapons that can stretch the Crimson Tide defense. One of those is arguably the best at his position in the country, tight end Brock Bowers.
And obviously, Brock Bowers is, you know, is a really, really good player, probably the best player at his position in the country. He's a mismatch issue, but he's also a good blocker and a really good competitor. So it's not only his pass catching ability, it's his ability to do all the things that really good football players do, and he does them all at a high level.
Despite missing 3 games to injury, Bowers still ranks 5th in the SEC, averaging almost 6 catches per game and 7th in receiving yards per game with 73. Bowers also leads the Bulldogs with 6 touchdown receptions on the year. One area the Tide does have an advantage is turnover margin. The Bulldogs are 9th in the SEC at an even 0, while the Tide is 3rd at +7. Alabama and Georgia have met 3 times in the SEC Championship game. The Crimson Tide have won all 3. Alabama has also won their last 16 games in Atlanta, including a perfect 7-0 record playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kickoff is scheduled for 3 o'clock Central. It will be the last SEC Championship game broadcast on CBS. Reporting from the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, I'm Christopher England with Tide TV.